We're at Lake Dardanelle.
First big tournament of the year. I'm excited.
It's time for the first event of the year on the Bass Pro Shops Collegiate Bass Fishing Series, the AFTCO Collegiate Bass Open. College fishing's finest anglers have descended upon Lake Dardanelle in Russellville, Arkansas to compete in this prestigious two-day event.
Oh yeah! There's one. Get that net. Get that net.
While anglers search for those elusive keeper bites on a stingy Lake Dardanelle, they're also battling it out for very valuable School of the Year points. Being the first ACA event of the season, teams and clubs alike are looking to gain the upper hand in this year-long race to be crowned collegiate fishing's #1 school.
Right now we're in 5th in School of the Year, so this tournament's really important for us. We need a good finish here.
A couple updates, we've maintained our lead. This is, I think, the best opportunity we're gonna ever have.
There's a lot on the line this weekend at Lake Dardanelle, and there are plenty of fish to be caught. Day 1 coverage of the AFTCO Collegiate Bass Open begins now.
Boat run! Woo! How about that one? Y'all put your hands together, new leaders. Big Suey! New big bass of the tournament. There's your champions right there, folks.
Welcome into our coverage of the Bass Pro Shops Collegiate Bass Fishing Series. We're at the first stop of the year on Lake Dardanelle for the AFTCO Collegiate Bass Open. This event marks the first time the Association of Collegiate Anglers has fished during the fall months. As is the case this time of year, weather patterns are beginning to shift, presenting an added element for anglers to factor in when fishing over the next 2 days.
Big cold front that kind of rolled through. Fall really kicked off and started hard this week. Trying to tackle that adjustment while those fish themselves are still adjusting to the current climate is kind of a difficult thing. Whenever they don't know where they want to be, how are you supposed to know where they want to be?
It's changing. It's changing every day, and there's probably going to be some guys that had a really bad practice that are going to catch them really, really good. So, that's one of the cool things about fishing a place like this.
The playing field for this event, Lake Dardanelle, is an impoundment along the Arkansas River system, located just outside of Russellville, Arkansas. The lake boasts miles of shoreline filled with rocks, lily pad fields, flooded brush, and shallow vegetation. Taking all that into consideration, along with the time of the year, a variety of moving baits, frogs, and soft plastics will all be in play.
I fish here a bunch. I live about 50 miles from here. I fish here 15, 20 times a year. If I were down here fishing and had a little knowledge of the lake, I would be throwing a swim jig a bunch and a frog.
I've mainly been going with the shallow bite, swim jig as much as I can.
We've everything we've been catching shallow. A lot of our fish have been coming swimming a jig.
We're going to start in a pad field in the morning. We found one pad field that we got several bites out of in practice, and we're going to start there, and then after we leave there, we're going to go junk fishing. That's all we got.
The Bass Pro Shops School of the Year, presented by Abu Garcia, is also a major topic of discussion as the anglers look toward day 1 of tournament action.
Absolutely, that's something we think about all year. That's our #1 goal, is to win School of the Year.
Last year we finished 2nd in School of the Year. Bethel had a pretty good lead, but this year we're going to do everything we can to get back on top.
All ACA events allow schools to earn points for their highest 2 fishing teams inside the top 100. That means finding keeper bites and remaining consistent for 2 days will be key in this year-long race.
I think we're gonna need a top 20 to move up. There's some good teams ahead of us that catch them at every tournament, so making up ground on them ain't as easy.
I think our closest competitor is right around 450 points behind us. There's a lot of points to be had here, so we really need to do good and maintain this momentum all the way through to have a chance at this.
And here's a look at the top 10 heading into this event. Adrian College, located in Michigan, sits more than 450 points ahead of their nearest competitor. Chasing them in that 2nd spot is Bemidji State University from Minnesota. And rounding out the top 3 is another Michigan-based school, Grand Valley State University. Tournament day has arrived here in the natural state. Anglers are filing through Lake Dardanelle State Park and are anxious to get out there and find keeper bites here on day 1.
Well, I think it's going to be a good day. I hope the fishing gets a little bit better than it was yesterday. It's a little slow, but we're going to go back and see if we can figure out some bigger fish.
It's really my first big tournament, and Just hoping to get out there and find the fish.
The weather conditions have been one concern anglers have had leading up to today. Forecasts show a projected high in the low 60s with minimal winds and a strong chance of showers as the day progresses. Before checking in with our first team out on the water, here's a quick look at the rules for this event. Each boat is allowed to bring in up to 5 fish. Minimum length limit is 14 inches. And the team with the highest 2-day total weight will be crowned the victor.
Go, let's get the net.
Big one.
Nice. This side.
We begin our on-the-water coverage with the McKendree University pairing of Ethan Jones and Trevor McKinney. Though their morning has been slow so far, they add their first keeper to the box by working top waters around shallow flooded brush.
It's been slow for us so far. We're really fortunate to get that bite. I don't know. It's just been going slow. All of our areas that we really thought we were going to catch them on, seemed like every time we go to one, there's a boat sitting there. And this was an area, yesterday we had a good bite, 2 good bites. We shook them off and real confident that we could come back here and catch them. And I was just glad to see we come here and actually got bit. And I think after getting that bite, I think we're going to run with it and hopefully get some more bites.
Action is underway, and there are bites to be had out on Lake Dardanelle. After the break, we'll bring you more great fishing coverage of the AFTCO Collegiate Bass Open.
We know if you found one crappie, you may have found 1,000. We know the joy of getting your boots back in the mud. We know the journey can be more rewarding than the destination. We know the great outdoors. We love the great outdoors. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Stop by today for huge savings on the gear you need and the brands you trust. Plus free 2-day shipping at BassPro.com and Cabela's.com.
You sons of fishes. Ain't enough fish on this lake for 2 clubs.
Really? Well, we see plenty of fish live with Panoptics.
Yep. Dang, we should get Panoptics. Or maybe we'll just take yours.
What's going on here? You boys have license?
Yes, sir.
Nope.
There he is. Oh, I got him.
The Bass Pro Shops Collegiate Bass Fishing Series is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time. And by Garmin, fight your fish, not your fish finder. Welcome back to coverage of the AFTCO Collegiate Bass Open. Rain has set in across various portions of the lake, but it doesn't appear to be hurting the bite.
There's fish.
Good.
After finishing as runner-up the last time we were here, today, this team representing Murray State is wasting no time getting things started.
This morning was excellent. This point here has a current seam on it, and we had some fish schooling on it this morning. We were able to put 4 in the box right off this point in about 10 minutes.
Working a topwater frog around lily pads, the pair has boxed up 4 fish, all of which are just over the 14-inch mark. Now, they're in search of their 5th keeper to complete a limit.
There he is. Yes. Beautiful. You don't need me, that's brave.
It's just barely 14 inches.
Squeaker.
That one finally was one that actually hit it pretty aggressively and got it in his mouth, so I was able to get him in. But before that, we've had quite a few just kind of swirl on it or nudge it or just not quite eat it all the way. That was the first one that really got it. So that's an encouraging sign for the rest of our day.
One team still looking for an encouraging sign are the current School of the Year leaders from Adrian College. Their original plan was to lock through and fish the river below Lake Dardanelle. However, barge traffic prevented them from doing that, so now they're having to figure out a new plan of attack.
Plan A kind of got scrapped with the barge situation, so now it's, cover as much productive water as we can, or possibly productive water. We're just looking for anything that might hold fish, and it's got bait on it. close to a channel swing, stuff that has historically been good on other lakes in the past, and we're just trying to replicate it, cover as much water as we can, and see if we can't get lucky.
Keeper.
Nice.
Get that net. Get that net. Keep him down. I got him. He's a largemouth. I don't know if he's gonna keep. He's gonna be real close. He's gonna be 13.5.
That fish comes up just short, but it's a step in the right direction following a difficult morning. When conditions get tough on a body of water, being a local can prove to be priceless. Jake and Josh Duggar from Arkansas Tech University right here in Russellville have used their local knowledge to load the boat early here on day one.
We started here in the bayou. Thought there'd be a lot of boats in here, but the stuff we've been fishing, there hasn't been too many so far. And took us a little while, but we've caught one every now and we'll run into one or two down a stretch. I haven't been doing much catching, but he's caught 4 of our 5, just swimming a black and blue jig. We had one more that pulled off at the boat, but he probably would have culled our 14-incher. He wouldn't have helped much, but we got probably 10 or 11 pounds maybe. Just need a big one.
1.5 to 2 pound fish appear to be the average today, as we're hearing reports of many limits in the 10 to 11 pound range. Being able to upgrade and catch 1 to 2 fish over the 2 pound mark could help separate a team from the rest of the field.
So here up to that little leaning tree, we'll catch it. We should. There's one. Good one. Stay down. It's gonna help a little bit.
That fish is an upgrade, allowing the McKendree team to cull up ever so slightly. And as any tournament angler knows, culling up is always a positive thing.
That's always a good sign.
Yeah, it feels good.
This week in practice, it's been tough. We've been catching a good amount of fish, but the size hasn't quite been there. But any day on tournament day, your culling's always a good day.
It's time for another break, but when we return back out onto Lake Dardanelle, we'll continue to bring you more fish catching action. It's getting later in the day, and the bite is heating up. Stay tuned for more.
Groundbreaking designs, unsurpassed quality, and unshakable confidence. Welcome to the Ranger Z500 and Z100 series. Leading the industry for over 50 years, these rigs are custom crafted and loaded with more features and advantages to deliver the ultimate ownership experience. The legendary Ranger Z series. Unleash next level performance.
Yamaha Outboards. Reliability starts here.
Meet the water's lightest 25 horsepower 4-stroke, the all-new Yamaha F25, the new standard and 25 horsepower portable 4-strokes. At just 126 pounds, it's got the best power-to-weight ratio of any 25 horsepower 4-stroke on the water. With performance that bests the previous Yamaha F25 and features like Yamaha's VTS for precise trolling speeds, batteryless EFI, built-in resting pads, and carry handles, it's the perfect portable power for small boats.
The Bass Pro Shops Collegiate Bass Fishing Series is brought to you by Boat US. We're with you on the water. Yamaha Marine. Reliability starts here. AFTCO. Any fish, any water. And by Russellville, Arkansas Tourism and Visitor Center.
It's a Christmas miracle. We didn't blink.
Keeper bites are the name of the game here on day one of the AFTCO Collegiate Bass Open on Lake Dardanelle. Cool, overcast conditions have the fish in a funk, making finding that right bite a difficult task.
Didn't see you there.
Representing Texas A&M University Commerce, Chase Fitzgerald and Michael Wallace have sacked up a limit of bass on a crowded Lake Dardanelle and are beginning to cull up. The key to their success so far? Downsizing their presentation.
Yeah, so we're from Texas, and what a lot of guys power fish, and that's all they do. So what I've come to is power finesse fishing. So you're fishing light line, smaller weights, smaller baits, and fishing the same stuff. And you'll catch a lot of fish that people in front of you won't catch. And that's why I don't mind fishing popular areas, because I'm pretty comfortable going behind guys catching fish, because I'm not doing what they're doing. I'm doing it to an extent, but I'm throwing lighter and smaller stuff. So a lot of the finicky fish that aren't gonna bite a big heavy bait that's moving fast, they'll bite this lighter stuff if you leave it in their face long enough. Oh yeah. Boom, baby. Hey, that's the biggest fish we've seen all week, Mike. That's the biggest fish we've seen all week.
Netting their biggest fish of the week, A&M Commerce culls out their smallest fish in the well and are emerging as a real contender on day one.
That was our main goal today, was try to stay all largemouth and keep the spotted bass out. And we just did it.
Now, let's take a minute to check back in on one of the teams we followed earlier this morning. The Murray State team has returned to the area that produced for them first thing this morning.
Yeah, we're coming back here because we have one more kind of 14-incher in our live well. We're trying to get rid of him before the end of the day. But we're going to try to only catch one fish here because we're planning on coming back here tomorrow morning to start off our morning and try to catch some more fish. Got him.
This thing stared at us, so I don't know how they're going to sound big. Not at all.
Yeah. Magic pocket, man.
The magic pocket, yeah. There's no way.
No, he's not big.
Not even with.
He's on it.
Got him. That's a call.
Maybe. Good stuff, though.
But he's getting in the boat. That ain't a call. Nope, it's another 14-incher. Yeah, I'm going to check it for sure. Better believe it. He swirled and missed, and I just dropped it, and he ate it under the water. Come on.
Another team that managed an early limit and is working to cull this afternoon is from Bryan College. Bailey Fain and Trevor St. John have worked together to figure out this finicky river system.
You know, today's been a grind, but you know, we've caught a lot of small fish, you know, but as far as keepers gone, we've really had to work for them. You know, I'm just thankful we got a limit today because of how tough it's been, this old cold front, you know, October fishing. So I'm tickled to have what we have, you know.
Mainly we've been focusing on shallow weeds out of the wind with a chatterbait and a crankbait. But that's been the only thing we can get a bite on. We've caught one or two on a jig, but that's about it.
Fishing amongst the shallow weeds and vegetation along the bank is proving to be a prevalent pattern today. These anglers representing the University of Montevallo are hoping they can find a big one up shallow to upgrade their bag.
Started off kind of slow, went and chased schooling fish that we found in practice. Caught one keeper in there and then ran up the river and finished out a limit and started culling and just taking this how it's given to us at the moment. Just looking for a big one. Watch out, watch out, watch out.
It's getting late in the day, and bass like that will be at a premium as teams jockey for position heading into weigh-in. After the break, we conclude our on-the-water coverage and make our way back into weigh-in. Learn about a new initiative from AFTCO that promises to have a lasting impact on the sport of fishing. That and more when we return.
Everybody knows somebody that just seems to have things go wrong around him. And for me, it's my good buddy Z when he heads to the water. It's like a black cloud follows this guy around. He runs out of gas, locks his keys in the car, or worse, has a flat tire coming to him from the water. But old Z's a pretty sharp guy. He relies on Boat US in those situations where something goes wrong.
Boat US has the finest low-cost boat insurance and the largest fleet of towboats ready to assist you 24/7. Visit BoatUS.com.
Reel down to the water until it's rip and drag.
Get him!
The Bass Pro Shops Collegiate Bass Fishing Series is brought to you by Gill, dress like a pro. Eagle Claw Trocar, the world's sharpest fish hook. And by Denali Rods, experience the Denali advantage.
Caught a lot of fish, and we started out with a small limit, and then we've slowly cooled our way up to a decent one. And then not long, probably an hour or two ago, I caught a 4 to 5 pounder, and he caught a 4 to 5 pounder.
Yeah. So we got 2 solid fish in the boat.
Cole Lamb and Tristan Weaver from Arkansas Tech University have a solid limit in the bag, and it sounds like they'll have a hard time culling up any further today. So we'll go ahead and follow them back on into the weigh-in site to see just exactly how they fared today.
A limit. Uh-oh. This is liable to happen. Put them in there. This is liable to be good, folks. 5 fish. They need 16. It's close. 15, 20. So close.
Lamb and Weaver from Arkansas Tech University weigh in 15.2 pounds, which lands them in second place for the day.
We pretty much stuck to our game plan today. We kind of got off of it for about an hour and then decided we better go back to it. I'm glad we did.
It really paid off for us today. In the last 2 hours when we switched back, our original plan heated up.
And as the weigh-in continues, Lake Dardanelle proves to have been a difficult adversary for the top anglers in the nation.
How about 12.46? That's got you in 10th place. 11.65. That's not bad. How about a 10.62? 10.62. Appreciate y'all fishing. Go right over and get a picture made and put them right there in the release boats. We've got the AFTCO release boat here with us today.
AFTCO just recently finalized building a live release boat. It's called the Bass Bus, and what that's designed to do, it's going to travel across the country, to different tournaments, such as, the College Bass Fishing Open here on Lake Dardanelle. So it's going to travel throughout the United States, and it is there to promote conservation as far as releasing bass after tournaments back into the wild. We've installed the best equipment we possibly can in this boat to allow it to do the absolute best in reviving those fish after they've been in someone's live well or, been hooked poorly or whatever it may be throughout the, the course of their day. We've installed all that awesome equipment into that boat, and that boat is designed to keep those fish alive.
Bringing the largest bag of fish over to the release boat today are Alec Murphy and Ty Crutchfield. Weighing in a 5-fish limit of 15.99 pounds, the team from Rogers State University is sitting squarely in first place.
We caught a lot of fish today. We didn't cull a bunch, culled once. We had the first 5 we caught were pretty good ones. So.
And those first 5 fish for Murphy and Crutchfield were enough to earn them a first place spot at the end of day 1. Cole Lamb and Tristan Weaver held on to second place. And completing the top 3 are Griffin Heffington and Mason Cizik from Bryan College with 15.10 pounds. Tune in next time as we crown a champion at the AFTCO Collegiate Bass Open. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
I got my power pole down, stuck in the mud in the bottom of the lake, sitting so still in the wind and the waves, could even be a hurricane. I got my power pole down.
It's time to take fishing to a bold, new place. Berkley Power Bait Max Set. These baits feature a revolutionary new material that releases a supercharged scent field. They attract more fish and trigger more strikes than even original power bait. And all remain soft and flexible out of the package, so they're ready to fish. 10 forage-inspired natural matte colors come alive in the water. Berkley Power Bait Max Set. Fish bite and won't let go.
Here at Big Bite Baits, we've got a big line of different plastics, and they're all a tool, so you want to have them with you all the time.
I made several checks in crowded areas flipping that right there. Just a 6-inch Big Bite Creetail worm.
Here at Big Bite, we came out with 4 brand new colors this year. All 4 of these colors are going to be great fish catching baits.
Definitely my #1 go-to bait that Big Bite has out right now is the Big Bite Battle Bug.
Big Bite is leading the way when it comes to innovation and colors.
Probably one of the #1 questions I get, what line do I use?
That's a big debate. On every tour out there, everybody's debating which line.
I choose the simple side. My choice of line is Sunline.
My favorite lines to use is Sunline.
How all can you use it? Anywhere you want to. Anywhere there's water and bass, it's good. Walleye, catfish, trout, speckled trout, sharks.
There we go.
I don't say this unless I think it's true, but honestly, it's the best in the market.
Combining the best of old world craftsmanship with state-of-the-art technologies to bring fishermen everywhere a fishing rod that's feather light, extremely sensitive yet remarkably durable for any fishing condition or situation. Denali rods, tournament tested and tournament tough.
Approximately 30,000 cases of Lyme disease happen each year in the United States. The main culprit, ticks. Stop and kill ticks in the outdoors with Sawyer's permethrin insect repellents. Sawyer, we keep you outdoors.
We demand a lot from the products that we use on our adventures around the world. When it comes to keeping things seriously cold, we rely on Angle Coolers, who have for over 50 years kept things cold. Angle Coolers, the original high-performance cooler.